Queen of Holes by C.S.R.
Chapter 2. Explain it to us, for God's sakes.
Darlene had hurriedly rushed into the room, gripping into Marla as the protector. There was an obvious franticness about her, and confusion surrounding Marla. "What's the matter?" I questioned. Darlene looked over at where you in, her pierced purple eyes as she cried out.
"The Prince of Nightmares. I think he wants Marla's heart."
Knew that was an accurate concept. I couldn't tell if she meant it literally or figuratively. "What do you mean by that? Why would a prince and Prince Colin in the lifts want that?"
Wait a minute.
Marla interjected.
Was that man out there a prince?
Darlene answered.
Yes, that was Prince Meticulosus, but he is commonly known as Prince Cole, as it's easier to say.
I then recalled that Darlene was screaming something before she jumped off the balcony. Seanza say, "Oh, you were yelling at the sadistic, fearsome Prince of Nightmares. You're a brave young Darlene."
More like crazy.
Javis said in a mocking term, letting Eustace laughed. Darlene barked.
This is serious. I mean, he literally was asking where her heart was. He was acting as though it wasn't in her chest or something.
Well, then maybe it's true.
But we know that's not true. Marla's heart broke, remember?
It did? I asked in confusion of the conversation. Darlene sighed.
Yes, thanks to Javis.
Well, I fixed it, didn't I?
Javis began again to defend himself.
So stop joking around then.
I'm not.
Jarvis,
Marla said sternly with the most serious look I'd ever seen on her face.
what do you know? You're hiding something.
Of course I am. When am I not?
So what is it?
Javis looked nervous, searching the room with his black eyes as if it could help him answer.
Well, sweet bird, I only know theories.
I responded this time. Theories are better than nut, right?
I suppose.
He shot Ward a fairly agitated look, as though he wanted Ward to say nut more.
It's very possible that the heart in your chest is a substitute for your real heart.
What? Why would our real heart be then? Why wouldn't she have our real heart?
Do not cut me off.
Javis snarled.
I wasn't finished, now was I?
So's.
Don't apologize. Just keep your mouth shut for a while, Holin.
He glanced over to Ward as an assurance that I'd remained silent, then continued.
It has to do with who Marla's parents might be. And I mean her real parents. The ones who birthed her.
I suddenly felt very nervous. Jarvis was about to reveal information that every orphan wanted to know. Or at least, almost every orphan. I was one of the exceptions now that I had been adopted. I felt like I would be betraying the Hamiltons by inquiring about my birth parents. The Hamiltons are my real family. They are my parents. They love me, keep me close, take care of me. They are all I needed to know about parents. Also, whoever my real parents were, they obviously must have abandoned me if they're still alive. Why would I want them back in my life? I don't want to know. I blurted out without thinking. I mean, I'm curious, but I feel like it wouldn't be fair to the Hamiltons. I don't need whoever my biological parents are in my life. Jarvis gave out a breath of some sort as he responded.
Well, this is just a theory, after all. And besides, I don't know if it'd be possible to reunite you with these three.
3?
Darlene blurted in surprise.
Javis, it only takes 2 to...
She searched for the right words in the back of her head.
tango.
Holland started laughing.
Guess Javis doesn't know Nicky about that kind of thing, does he?
Well, that's the thing I was about to explain before I was rudely interrupted.
Jarvis re-entered the conversation to defend his statement.
Gods can break those sorts of rules.
Gods?
Holland and Darlene responded in shock. Holland's marks were moving about all awry, ranging in shades of purple and reds.
Yes, the Holy Three are gods. Marla is as much a part of Eutydesma as any of us, according to this theory. Haven't any of you people noticed the way she changes when transmitting between homins and here?
Well, no, not particularly. Change how?
Darlene responded.
Her hair, for one thing. It completely changes color and length. And then there's her ears, her height, face. Marla doesn't look like a normal human when in Eutydesma. But in homins, She looks relatively normal.
Oh, hey. Now that you've mentioned it, she does change.
Jarvis rolled his eyes behind his tiny tinted spectacles. He brought his gloved hand to his face and started to rub his bridge in agitation.
But are you trying to say that Marla is born from the gods? That'd make her a god too, wouldn't it?
I couldn't speak. I was speechless. I usually was the one full of questions, but this time I allowed the others to ask for me.
Yes, I believe so.
What about the heart? What does that have to do with any of this?
Just like the transformation between worlds, substituting her heart was a defense mechanism to protect the godchild. Having her real heart would have made Marla extremely powerful, more than human or Smaragd. I'm not sure where her real heart is at this moment.
I could smell the lie on his breath, but it wasn't apparent to anyone else that his final statement was false.
Where'd you get this Gurglite theory from?
I'm not the only one who knows about this, obviously. Otherwise, that prince wouldn't have come all the way from his castle to a commoner area for it. All the members of royalty from about 21 years ago knew about this theory. I'm assuming Fervis told her little bundle of joy about this and demanded he get the heart for her. They just don't seem to know that the heart is elsewhere.
Why do you know? You're not royalty.
There is almost nothing that I do not know, my feisty little ducky.
Do not call me that.
Little?
We all turned his attention to Fowler, who was standing in the doorway. He was dressed as his usual, wearing all black, his old hooded jacket, and baggy pants. He walked in and continued.
Funny, coming from you, that is, old man.
Jarvis rolled his eyes. Fowler made his way to a table and sat down on it rather than in one of the chairs.
So what's going on here? Couldn't wait for me? It seems to be something about Marla, which you all know I couldn't care less, but you also know how hungry Christian's curiosity gets, especially about Marla, which can kinda get creepy.
Fowler laid back on the table. I had a hard time taking all this in. I needed a little space, so I looked up to my sisterly friend and said, Darlene, could you tell him what we've been discussing? I think I need a breather. You know, to clear my head.
Of course.
Darlene looked down on me pitifully. Something about the pity I saw in her eyes made me want to cringe. After people found out I was depressed and fucked up enough to need medication, they looked at me that way. I hated it. Wanted it to stop. I wandered out of the room, but I'm sure I was waddling out in a very eerie way. I heard the sound of footsteps, and it came behind me.
And where do you think you're going?
That is my business.
I heard Jarvis answer behind me. I fastened my pace, and as I went to another room, I leaned against the corner by the door. Eventually, Jarvis walked in and looked over at me, seeming to know exactly where I'd be.
Brought that change of clothes you asked me for?
I weakly smiled at him and responded, Thanks. I know I could always count on you.
Don't need to be so thankful over something so small as clothes.
Still, I took the clothes from his hands. I started changing on the spot, something I became a master at without actually getting undressed. I slid my olive green pleated skirt under my dress, then slipped my dress on, and slid the maroon t-shirt over my tank top. I didn't need to, but I put my glasses on.
So,
Jarvis' tone got playful.
would you mind if I joined you for that breather?
His eyes watched closely as I removed my gloves.
Or is it your personal kind of breather?
He gestured to my wrist. I knew exactly what he was insinuating, and it probably had something to do with the fact that I removed my gloves. But I just removed them because even after wearing gloves for so long, I still felt uncomfortable with them on. But had the perseverance and willpower to be able to wear them long enough to be around the others without them noticing the scars. No, nothing like that. It's the kind of breather you taught me. I giggled, assuming that you have some. I started pulling back my hair.
Always. Why else would I wear clothes with so many pockets?
I followed him out to the balcony attached to that room, and we both made ourselves comfortable against the rail. Jarvis pulled out a match and a couple of cigarettes for the both of us.
Now,
Jarvis started as we took a moment to get comfortable.
I never ask this, as it is understandable since I'm so charming.
I giggled at his vain words.
But why do you, especially since you know me so well, enjoy my company so much?
I don't know. Because I really like you?
But I'm such an awful person, and you, my little sweet bird, know that. So then, why would such a goody-good like you enjoy my company, as well as like someone as vile as me?
I've been meaning to ask what that pet name you have for me. I changed the subject.
Sweet bird?
Yes, since the day we've met, it's been something you've called me, and no one else.
Well, because you're my sweet bird.
But what does it mean?
It's a very rare, special bird here in Utrodesma. It is often associated with Lady Free, since she has wings like it, or more like it has wings like her.
So... I wasn't quite sure where he was going about with this.
So I'm comparing you to a goddess.
Oh. Funny that. I paused again, realizing I was coming off as rude. Well, I mean, thank you, first of all. But, well, that prince called me goddess. Guess that goes to show that you didn't completely make up that theory. Once again, I realized that I might be acting insulting. Not that I thought you did.
Of course not, sweet bird.
We looked off to the distance, saying words that started to dissolve into the cool fall air.